Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. And before we get to our guest today, we have a big shout out for Living Sisu. Living Sisu is a platform and app that wants to give you all the tools to have success in your sport. Their main objective is to activate your lifestyle. It's for active people. Enjoy discounts at companies like BioSteel, 30% off, Body Logics, the Goalie Guild. All his books are discounted. Roan, Lululemon for men, 20% off. Online stretching programs with Eccentrics, 1 full month free. They got super silent massage guns, 20% off those. And it's a great quality. It's way less expensive than a Theragun, and it's great quality. So there's so many more discounts that you guys will need to just become a member to see. So they want to provide you with anything you need for success. So come join the community. I'm a part of it. A bunch of other athletes are a part of it. So it's free to join. It takes 20 seconds to get exclusive offers to your sport, and it's definitely worth it. So do us a huge favor and go sign up for Living Sisu's membership. It's free. 20 takes 20 seconds. So go do it, and we'll see you there. Living Sisu is a great company. We know one of the co-founders, Zach Fricali. He's a great guy. He's the co-founder. He does a lot of live streams on Instagram at Living Sisu, and with a bunch of elite athletes, and you learn a lot from like the athletes' determination, their resiliency, everything to made them become successful. So it's been a great experience so far. So go on. I'm gonna leave the link in the description. So go sign up. Yo, welcome back to another episode of On the Spot Sports. I'm Jack, and in today's episode, we are joined by a very special guest, current professional hockey player Joe Pace. Joe most recently played with the Port Huron Prowlers in the Federal Prospects Hockey League and the Pensacola Ice Flyers of the Southern Professional Hockey League. Joe has played in the Federal Hockey League, Southern Professional Hockey League, International Hockey League, United Hockey League, Central Hockey League, and the All-American Hockey League throughout his pro career. He is also now the Chief Operating Officer for the new Federal Prospects Hockey League team coming to Biloxi, Mississippi, the Mississippi Seawolves, coming into play this upcoming season. So this is going to be a really fun episode, Joe. So welcome to the show, Joe Pace.
Hey, thank you so much. That's probably the best intro I've ever had.
Hey, I love it. I appreciate the words, and glad to be the best intro you've ever gotten.
Well, and people are probably like, "How's he still going? What's he like? You played more places?"
How
Oh
many
man,
years have you played pro so far?
I man, I know it's very close to two full decades. So I think it's like 18 or 19 seasons, and that spans out now over three different decades. It's pretty wild. But when I was young, my first year, I was bouncing around. I ended up in Rockford, Illinois, and played some games there. But I was in Muskegon, then Rockford, and there were some older guys on the team that played like 20 years, 2 years of pro hockey.
Wow.
And I was like, since they graduated high school, they've been playing pro hockey. I was like, that's so cool. And now to look back on it, I'm like, I'm them. They were way better than I was, but I've hacked it out. I've survived. I was more of a survivor than anyone else. So it was like, it was just cool to now be in the same shoes they were almost the young guys coming in, you're as old as their dads.
Yeah, it must be crazy looking back, like you said, and like you're looking at guys that played 20 years, and then you're looking at like right now when you're in 18, 19, whatever year it is right now, and you're like, dang, like that's what I was thinking when I was coming in, and guys were playing their 20th year, and now I'm pretty much almost there as well.
Yeah, so and it's wild. I've seen so many guys just the other night. They retired a guy's jersey in Carolina, Jay Kenny. Awesome. When he came into the league, it was 2015 in Port Huron, and I brought him in as a free agent to free agent camp. Knew a guy. He played for a guy I played with. We got him in there. He made the team out of free agent camp, bounce around a little bit in the league, but we always played with or against each other. And then now he's done and going to be a fireman, and his jersey number is getting retired. And it's like I watched his whole career, and I felt like I was at the end of mine when I saw him come in. So it's very different. It's like you know I don't think I'll do what Gordie Howe or Chelios did, but they played until their 50s. Yarmer
Yeah.
Yager, I don't know if hockey fans know, he's still playing in the Czech. So
Yeah.
Czech top league, he's out there still playing at 50 years old.
Yeah, that's awesome that you got to like see his career develop and like where it is now, and like him getting his jersey retired. Like all you need is an opportunity, and took that in the free agent camp, and look what he made with his career. Like all you need is one opportunity to get your opportunity.
Yeah, he was bouncing around. He started at Elmira College, finished somewhere else, and really didn't have many options. He was more a like major junior player, like plays physical, not that many points, fights, and in the college hockey game, he was really almost invincible, and there wasn't a role for coaches to play him in. Yeah, he's fast, yeah, he's physical, but when you can't fight and do things like that, you end up riding the bench sometimes. So
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's what happened to him there, and we gave him a shot, and it became a fan favorite around the Federal League.
yeah. That's awesome. Like just to do what like you're on the edge of your career, like sitting right on the bench, then get that opportunity to show what you do, become a fan favorite, and the fans love you, and you're also still playing with that opportunity.
Yeah, that's it. I think that's kind of how I survived. Obviously, when there's a market for you, and fans are willing to come pay to come see you play and buy your jersey and things like that. Owners kind of see that after a while, and they take a liking to you because you're helping them make money and survive, and without them you don't have a job. So it's kind of don't bite the hand that feeds you. Never make the owners mad. Make them happy. Do all you can, and be that player that just keeps his head down and keeps going. So that's kind of how I was. Never high maintenance, and it's like, man, this guy's always here to help.
Yeah, absolutely. And like talking like starting fresh, like we get into Biloxi hockey right now because you guys are playing this upcoming season. So what has like been the whole process like to bring back hockey in Mississippi to Biloxi, and just to have everything develop from when you guys first started to where you guys are now?
It's amazing to have this going on and bringing back the Sea Wolves. They got hockey down here on the Gulf Coast of Mississippi in 1995, the 95-96 season, and no one knew if it could happen, and you know and if it could just even at the arena. The arena had never played ice hockey. It was built in the 70s. They did Disney on Ice, things like that, but never hosted a hockey game. So guy, I guess, got the boards and glass and got it in, and it was a hit from the beginning. Katrina kind of wiped it out. So when we saw the free market and this beautiful building and beautiful area, we wanted to try to expand, put a federal hockey team here, and Barry Soskin came down here, had a meeting, brought with some league officials. They did a walkthrough of the building, liked what they saw, and that's right when they started to negotiate on trying to get 1 to 3 neutral site games, where we just have 2 teams meet in a neutral location and play, try to get the fans into it, kind of let them see the product, the on ice product, the off ice product. So we moved down here to kind of make a success and be here full time. So we were lucky enough. Social media was already up and going for the area. It was called Bring Back Our Sea Wolves. So I partnered with those guys. They changed it to Biloxi Pro Hockey. We promoted the 3 games, and I think it was during the second game we hit over 5,000 tickets sold, and that we told the fans if they could do that, we'll switch the name of the Facebook and social media to Mississippi Sea Wolves. We did, And shortly after we sold out the third and final game, it was just awesome. 86-46. So, 8,600 people in a building watching hockey in a town that hasn't had it in 7 years. And they're not even cheering for their hometown team.
Yeah.
They're cheering for a team out of Michigan or a team out of Georgia. The crowd was probably split in half on who teams were like, oh, I'm going to root for them. But yeah, it was awesome. And, place was just electric and buzzing. And, people were singing along with songs and, busting out the flashlights when the lights were off and stuff like that. So had a really cool, like awesome sports atmosphere mixed with like the same atmosphere you would get at like a concert or something. So it was something most guys had never seen before. But yeah, right afterwards, we got the lease signed. You know, everyone knew we were going to name the team the Seawolves. So we were up and running. And just last week or 2 weeks ago now, we started season ticket sales. Those have been amazing. And the people are really showing everyone they want hockey down here on the coast.
Yeah, that's unreal, especially like everything that you guys have put into it, and like just to see how far like from you've been there since the start, like from the beginning stages and now where you're at now, like you just get a whole different like perspective of everything, and just it must feel like really good, especially like bringing back the Seawolves after like 10 plus years, whatever it was since they last played, and like it must be just be an unreal feeling just to be surrounded by those people and just to bring back hockey to Mississippi.
Well, it's been awesome. The last time they had the Seawolves, they were in the East Coast Hockey League.
Yeah.
And people, the ECHL is, Premier League. But at the same time, every pro hockey player could skate and shoot and it's physical and the games are entertaining. And I think people are going to see that, the Federal Hockey League is almost more entertaining, because, honestly, you go from the top 2, 3 leagues in the country telling their refs they want to see less fights. So you see linesmen putting themselves in harm's way, trying to separate two guys and stop them before a fight breaks out. To our league, if you drop your gloves, the linesmen are going to get out of the
Yeah.
way and let you fight because they know that's what the fans came here to see. And maybe not all of them, but a lot of our cities are blue collar communities and people want to see old school hockey. And that's part of our marketing and branding with the league is old school hockey. And that's what sold it to Matt McDonald down here in Biloxi is when he heard Barry say old school hockey, and it was so much part of our press conference. It was just, it was a seller for him. It was a seller for a lot of the fans. But yeah, that's it. What it is, you get that feel. The refs are calling the hookings and slashings the way they call it in the new game.
Yeah.
But those roughings and Len guys, really get in each other's face and it turns into a scrap. That's the old school style, and that you see that a lot down here. But our guys want to make it to the next level so bad. You see them playing every game like it's a playoff game. Guys are blocking shots and breaking their foot. Then one guy broke his leg in the league this year, and you don't see that in the NHL besides in playoffs. You see him diving in front of every puck.
You're selling out.
Yeah, we're diving in front of every puck and buying in and selling out the first game of the year. It's like, so it goes like that for the whole season. So we're pretty beat up at the end.
Yeah, and that goes on to like my next question, like the old time hockey. Like, what kind of brand are you expecting the Seawolves to play, and like how are you gonna build around the team?
Well, we when we got down here, everyone we met, they talk about their favorite players, and their favorite players a lot of the time, almost 90% of the time, were some of the old enforcer tough guys that were on the team. So I wouldn't say the Seawolves had goonish guys, but
Yeah.
they had guys that were willing to scrap every year. So one of the bigger names was Roger Maxwell. And he was down here and it was early in his career, and he just I think terrorized the East Coast Hockey League back then. You knew if you were coming through Mississippi, you had to, you were going to see Maxwell. And especially if you play that edgy style game and you may not be as big as him, he's going to grab you sooner or later when you slash, cross check, or hit one of his good players. So, you go after, a top scorer, that guy's going to come out and ask you to go, or he's going to say something to you, or he's going to be stalking you the rest of the game, looking for you with your head down. So that's what kind of keeps hockey honest against other sports, basketball, football. You can really throw elbows, get in on a guy, take a cheap shot. And what's he going to do? He's going to have to try to take a cheap shot on you. Then you're getting suspended and fined and, missing games,
and all this
missing
stuff.
money. Yeah. Where in hockey, you just get to kind of ask the guy, you want to go? No. Well, okay. Well, keep your head up because I'm coming for you. And, if you do, you usually get it over with. And, it's usually done after, that one, maybe another one or two, maybe someone wants to equal the score. Maybe then you have to have a rubber match.
Yeah.
It seems like that, if one fight goes one way, either the guy comes back looking for another one, or he knows he got what he had coming to him and, hey, I'm done. Okay, good job. Thanks. And hope I never have to do that again.
Yeah, it seems like the Seawolves are going to be tough to play against this year, but it's going to be fun as well to watch and just be on the team as well.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to find old school kind of tough guys like that. I play that way of, self-preservation. You're a small D-man, you're under 6 feet tall. Forwards are going to tell you to take runs at you. And I saw an interview a long time ago. Chris Pronger said, he'll hook a guy, spear a guy, or just fight a guy for hitting him. A big hit or a little hit. Why? Because next time he's coming down on me and I'm below the goal line, he's going to think twice about running me into the boards. So I started playing like that out of self-preservation. You get in a few fights a year, you take a lot less hits and rub outs and, get hit in vulnerable positions less and less. Maybe you can play the game longer. So I guess it worked out a little bit. But I guess I am from Chicago, so there's a part of me, you hit me, I'm going to get super pissed off, and you're going to see red in my eyes, and I'm going to get a little crazy. So it could have just been me too. But, we're going to have to win games at home. We're going to have to be a high-scoring team. Now in today's game, if you can't score 3 or 4 goals a game, you're not going to win. Yeah. You can't be like the 80s, score 2 goals and win 2-1 or 2-0. Those games are rare and far between nowadays. So goalie gear getting smaller and smaller, the game getting more open and spread out, with all these little hooking and grabbing and holding and interference calls. There's more scoring, more power plays lead to more goals.
Yeah, and that's what brings the fun as well, especially you're getting more goals. You gotta match that energy as a team to score more goals than your opposition. Just get those more than two goals, 3, 4, 5 goals to win a game. And everyone loves seeing goals when you're in the stands.
Well, and especially when the games are close, people are on the edge of their seat. But you even look at the NHL, you're not winning a lot of games over an 82 game season if you could only score two goals, 3 goals a game. It's just it's crazy to think about. I don't like it. It's stressful being on the bench and being like, we need to score 8 goals tonight to win. It's you don't want to be thinking like that. Oh my gosh, we need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion to score. Oh gosh. But no, it's just kind of the way the game's evolved. And, you used to 10 years ago only see those kind of scores in our league and, the SP and the Coast. And now you're starting to see them in the NHL where you see a team win 8-1. And you're like, whoa, what happened tonight? And it's well, with the power plays and the way the game is, and, even with the gear, the new sticks, guys, they swing like a golf club and, that puck's coming off their stick 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And it's not the way it used to be with a wood stick. You had to really swing that thing to get her going.
Yeah, exactly. And just like yesterday, the Hawks and Wild 6-4, and the other day it was like 8-2 against one of the teams in the NHL. And it's like scoring is more prevalent now than it's ever been in the past years.
Yeah, and especially when you get into a game like this and today's game, hockey, you got to have good goaltending and good defense to win a championship, to win a
Yeah,
lot of games. So I think that's going to be the biggest factor down here to have a good, successful team and have a championship quality team is goaltending. After that, yeah, you got to have goal scoring and defense. Honestly, I think defense is better because I guess if you score 4 goals, how did we not win? That's defense and goaltending. So
yeah,
right there, it's very important to in the course of a long season to have those two things be really solid with call ups and how close we're going to be to East Coast League teams, SP teams. We're going to lose guys just because when people have injuries and all this stuff. This year we saw it too a lot when they put in the taxi squad rule in the NHL. They lost guys in the AHL, guys from the coast were jumping up. It was the trickle down effect. It happened everywhere. Uh, so yeah, you're gonna have to have a deep roster in every city if you want to be successful. If you just want to get by, you could get by and make playoffs and then try to scratch and claw for there.
yeah.
Our first year, we want to come out of the gate with a strong team and kind of build off that core group of guys, keep it coming for years to come because it's a good market. They've been craving hockey, so they deserve the best product they could get. I think the fans have earned it down here after having the hiatus they did.
Yeah, absolutely. How are you gonna pick the players? You're gonna have like a free agent camp that you pick players, or are you just gonna and also like sign players from previous seasons?
Our league, the Federal Prospects Hockey League, they do a free agent camp every year. All the coaches are invited to come to it. You can kind of build off of that. Also, you do find some free agency around the league, especially when teams have to trim rosters down, things like that. I guess we'll start building a team around the first, second week of May. That should be the end of the season. It's usually about a week after the playoffs end. They give the green light to start sending paperwork into the league. So it's going to be exciting and fun. It's going to happen really soon. That's crazy to think about.
Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you'll even see me at one of those free agent camps as well.
Well, and yeah, and that's the thing. There's been plenty of guys that have came out and uh, you know just over the last 5 6 years, I remember 2 guys made it. They you have a meeting and they're like, "Hey, I just want to say congrats. I want to invite you to Maine training camp." And it usually at these points it's like it starts next week or it starts next
Yeah,
weekend or some do it the Friday Saturday leading up to the morning when main camp starts and you skate Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then they're like, yeah, tomorrow starts training camp. We want to invite you. And these guys are like, oh man, I just came to like skate and check this out. And the one guy was like, I'm a teacher. He's like, I got to be at school tomorrow. He's like, I got to drive home. And we're like, well, why did you come or why didn't you tell us? He's like, I honestly didn't think I would make it. And we're like, oh my gosh. But, really it's all about that effort and attitude. You come out and you play your heart out, coaches are going to notice, if
yeah,
you're willing to, hit guys and scrap and do all these things at free agent camp, they want to see what you can do when, you're getting paid to do it and, you're on the team for real.
yeah, and
So,
that yeah, and like we were talking about earlier, all you need is that one opportunity and that one shot to make your mark, make a name for yourself. And if you're gonna go out, play your hardest, play your heart out, like you said, you're probably gonna get an opportunity or at least some sort of look for sure.
well, and yeah, and for guys to have that chance to play in a city where you walk out of the arena and in like, within 100 steps, you're on the beach. Well, our parking lot ends on the beach. So it's like you're on the Gulf of Mexico every day, driving up and down the street, looking at the ocean. And it's just really cool. It's like we got salt water right out our back door. But boating and fishing is just huge down here. Also it's a real backwoodsy area. Hunting's huge. Everyone has a hunting cabin, a few hours north of town. And hopefully it attracts some roughneck hockey players, because that's what the fans want to see. But we have the area for them. Also, the guys that love nightlife and going out, Biloxi, it's a 24-hour town. Casinos are 24 hours, so you always could find something to do or find some trouble if you're looking for it. But it's a beautiful area from Mobile all the way to New Orleans. The coast is just gorgeous. So it's a hidden gem, and I think a lot of hockey players are going to go to find out that this is like going to be the place to play.
Yeah, and like you have literally everything right at like the corner of the arena, like the city, like you have it literally everywhere for miles and miles to New Orleans. Like there's no better life than that life, and just living in the warm weather when it's
Oh,
hockey season.
yep, it's 80 degrees out right now. So we've had that weather all the way through. We had 1 week of cold weather. So guys are gonna have to bring their winter coats for like a week of weather every winter. But but then road trips too. We said guys are gonna be living down here. We might have to get team winter coats. Why? You might not own a winter coat. You might have flew down here without one. And we're gonna go to Watertown. It's minus 20. All you got is a
Yeah.
hoodie. Everyone could come back sick. But it's really cool down here, and I'm happy we made the decision as a family to make the move. Obviously we're really far from friends and family back home in the Chicagoland area, but we were in Michigan for 7 years, and we're in a small town there, and we had lots of visits from friends and family, but we still weren't down the street. So when it's still a drive or a plane ride away, why not be happy, be somewhere where you're warm. Our kids are thriving down here. They're having a blast. So, I think we made a great decision. And, I don't want it to get too crowded down here, but I would suggest it to everyone that's up there and, always battling those winners. You can watch the Sox on WGN down here, the Cubs and everyone. So, they show football games everywhere with the red zone package.
Cool. Yeah, that is true. And why be in the cold winter when you could be in the warm weather in Mississippi by the coast, and you got
Yep.
everything right there.
Yeah, we're an hour and a half from New Orleans. We're an hour and a half from Pensacola, Florida. So yeah, if you really want to go to a gorgeous beach, Pensacola Beach, probably one of the nicest beaches you could ever ask for. Gorgeous blue water, white sand beaches, and it's quiet too, not overcrowded. So it's a hidden gem on that Gulf Coast up in that Panhandle. But for people that don't know, it's almost like the panhandle of Florida just extends all the way to New Orleans. The coast
Yeah.
doesn't change. Even the beaches in Alabama are awesome. People go over there all the time. Our beaches are beautiful. We have some barrier islands just off in the Gulf. So, when you're here, you really got to get a boat and get out there to those barrier islands. On the, south side of the islands out in the Gulf, water's crystal clear and blue, just like Pensacola. Well, on the inner side of the island, on the north side, from there to the beach, it's real like brown, murky water. And, that just comes from Mississippi River feeding into the Gulf
Yeah.
over in New Orleans right next to us. And then these islands create a barrier, and it doesn't let the tide really come in, but it's awesome for hurricanes. Knocks down the storm, slows it down. So it's a part of life down here, boarding up, doors and windows and stuff for storms. So we learned that last year. It was a lot of fun.
I could only imagine everything, all the fun with that has to go with the hurricanes, and just having to board everything up and just try to just board everything up.
Well, yeah, you're bunkering down, and you're hanging out. You're boarding it up for the wind. Branches are flying
Yeah.
around, stuff like that. You don't want to break a window. But yeah, the actual storms, they're coming for a week. It's not like a tornado where it just pops up on you. You see this thing creeping, up through like past Cuba, through the Keys and coming into the Gulf. So, last year, it was cool and a little different, but, you know, it's party time. Hang out with the neighbors, drink in the street. It's wild.
A new little atmosphere when that happens, and just a different one, but something that you could get used to, and like actually know what you're doing for the next time.
Oh yeah, we met a lot of neighbors right before Ida came to shore. We're outside working, doing things, and everyone's there helping each other. And you see someone putting sandbags by their house or getting them off their truck, and maybe you lend a hand. But yeah, everyone's there for each other. If you had an emergency during one of those things, everyone's gonna, that's right there, and that didn't run and evacuate to families' houses just north of town or whatever. You're all there to help each other. But it's going to be cool. I know some of the guys and, Canadian guys, they're going to be in culture shock. They'll be enjoying it, but at the same time, it's a different way of life. Southern hospitality down here, everyone's holds doors and, please and thank you. And everything's yes, sir, yes, ma'am. So, it's cool. It's definitely different from fast-paced Chicago lifestyle that I grew up with.
Oh yeah, absolutely, that's for sure. But going into like the neutral site games here a little bit, what was like the atmosphere like during the neutral site games? Like when you're like this is the place to build a team off of, especially like that last neutral site game when you sold out the entire Mississippi Coast Coliseum.
uh, we knew the crowds were going to be good. One of us could have probably put all their money down on it. Allie, my wife, she was helping us, and she was like, "We're selling out," and we all thought we'd do good. A sold out crowd hadn't been done since 1999 down here, so we didn't think it was possible. Yeah, you could get close or do good, but
Yeah.
come on, sold out, turning people away, and that had never been done for a neutral site game either in our league or probably any league, especially when it's not their team. But yeah, first game was awesome. We were just over 4,000 fans, and like the environment in the arena was awesome. People were having fun, happy to be back watching hockey. The second one, I think, was the most exciting. It was a close game, went to overtime, all that. But at the same time, the crowd got a little bigger. They got a little louder. They got a little more pumped up and, crazy excited. The third one, it absolutely, sold out crowd anywhere is cool. But that second one, I think, because they realized it was going to happen. When you're looking around the arena and it's almost sold out, there's 7,200 fans, and there's another game to build it even more. I think they realized we're getting a team back, and they were super excited. During that third game, our owner, Barry Soskin, Matt McDonald, the executive director of the Mississippi Coast Coliseum, walked out, and they pretty much said, "You guys did your job. You came out and supported these three games. Let us do our job and bring back the Seawolves." And crowd went absolutely crazy. And, it was like, both games, the second game and third game, there was stuff like falling from the ceiling. There was old confetti from old like rock concerts that had been stuck up there. There was the speakers that were just like blowing out the foam and insulation out of them. Like the place was absolutely rocking. So I think it was literally rocking, and like rust and things were coming off the ceiling. It was wild.
Yeah, that's crazy, but that's when you know that you have passionate fan base over in Mississippi, and like that when the Seawolves became official, like like it's gonna be a sellout, and it's gonna be a good crowd when it comes into the season for this season, this coming up
Yeah,
season.
we're gonna have to. We set the bar a little high. I said I don't know what we were doing that. We came out so hot. Now it's like if we don't sell out our home opener, you guys sold out a game for two teams that didn't even have the name Mississippi in their name. You sold it out for Port Huron and Columbus. Like sell it out for your own team. So we got to do it. We know the formula that worked. It was a great marketing campaign, and we're just going to try to continue it. And obviously do all we can to keep the fans having fun, because that was it was about. They kept coming back to the 3 games because each game was fun and got funner, and they were just, that when you have more fun than the last time you're at the rink, if every time there it gets better, you want to keep going back.
Yeah.
It's the opposite of golf. It's like every time I golf, I have less fun.
Yeah, and then when you have like all this atmosphere and like all these fans like getting more and more excited every single game, like you bring back the team. Like, did you have like you guys probably had a press conference to bring back the Seawolves, right?
Yeah. So when we announced the 3 games, we did a live press conference. Was amazing. We actually moved to town about 4 days prior, unpacked the moving truck, and then prepped for the press conference. 200 people showed up to it. It was awesome, way more than expected, and that's when we knew it was going to be good. Just that week alone, I think we sold 600 tickets. Same, that's about that same fan base was the ones to rush and get season tickets this year again. So you have those passionate fans that line up the minute they go on sale. Obviously some of them were buying the same seats they've sat in since 1995, so they wanted to be there first for no one to steal their seat. But
Yeah.
it's really cool. At the games too. Me and I got to plug him a little bit. Justin Schmidt. We played against each other a long time ago when we were in our 20s. He was in Huntsville. I was in Richmond in the SP, and we were a bit of troublemakers back then, but never got into a scrap. And he went into retirement, did some other things, rodeo and MMA fighting, and he came back this year, came out of retirement. He's in Columbus with the River Dragons, and we've had probably 5 or 6 scraps this year that were all over a minute long. And I think two of them were in Biloxi, and the fans really got excited after those. Like that reminded them of some old school hockey. And I just wanted to plug Schmidt. Came out of retirement, had one heck of a year, and he was a big part of helping bring hockey back down here. Obviously, you only like to have good fights at home for your hometown crowd, but
Yeah.
he knew it was important for us to have some good scraps down here, and he was willing to go. And obviously, I was just happy to be the other part of that. Obviously, there's not many places I could go in town now without people recognizing me, from doing a news broadcast prior to the game and promoting the games, or at the games and getting punched in the face. So
Yeah, but those are the memories you'll take for a lifetime, especially like two tough guys going at it. Like there's nothing better, and like the respect out of like everything, like it's top notch. Like some of those like tough fighters, like you could just tell are like really chill guys and like really good guys outside of the game, and like they're doing their job, and just like the respect you guys have for each other is unmatched.
well, obviously, when two guys kind of have that role on a team, I guess you got to have some respect for each other. There
Yeah.
is some hatred and some heated rivalries. Not everyone could just shake hands after the game and move on. There are people that avoid each other at all costs. But yeah, a lot of hockey players are different than most other athletes. I would say the closest would be to MMA, where there's a lot of smack talking going back and forth leading up to it, and then after it's all done, that ends and there's a handshake and a mutual respect, and you can move on past it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to take one more thing for Mississippi before we move on to your career so far. So, how is the season tickets going? Like, I know you said like the season tickets have been awesome. Like, it must be a pretty cool feeling when you got like the old time fans just from like the ECHL days to like come and get like the same seats. Like, that must be an unreal feeling for them. And just like, how's everything going with season tickets and just everything that comes with the benefits of the season tickets?
Well, again, we didn't advertise at all. We just did on social media. There was we were on the news once or twice, but we haven't even started a campaign for that. And we had people lined up at the door the first 2 days, 2 hours before we opened up, waiting to buy them. So it's been awesome. We honestly think our goal is going to be, that end number is going to be between 1,500 and 2,000 season tickets. So it's going to be some of the highest in the league. So it's going to be really exciting. Obviously we just keep breaking records, but at the same time, we're setting the bar higher and higher for ourselves. So it gives you some self motivation to be successful when you're going to have to replicate again and again and again, because we don't want this to be a one hit wonder or a 1 year success story. It's like, no, we want to continue this into the future like we did in some other markets, and make hockey last down here.
Yeah, absolutely. That's awesome. Like, it's gonna be a lot of fun coming up for Mississippi in the following season, or this upcoming season. But the Mississippi Seawolves are back.
Yeah, we are. So I think everyone says, "Hell yeah."
Yeah, how yeah. There we go. But I want to move on to your pro career so far here a little bit. So you first start off in the United Hockey League with the Rockford Ice Hogs. So like what was like it like getting that first opportunity to go pro and just to be in your hometown of, or in your home state of Illinois in Rockford?
Yeah, at the team we were in at the time, the team was in the United Hockey League. Shortly after they joined the AHL, became the affiliate of the Hawks, and it was exciting. It was nice. I was able to go home as much as I could. It was 45 minute to an hour ride, not bad, but great atmosphere, good crowds. We were getting probably just over 4,000 on good nights, closer to five. So at the time, think I had turned 19 like a week before I signed there. So I'm 19 years old, and you're playing in front of 5,000 fans and playing against grown men. On the road, I was living with a guy that was only a few years younger than my dad, and remembered my dad from youth hockey around Chicago. They played at the same organization. He was just younger. So it was really different. I'm happy. I did try to learn as much as I could then, because I played with some really great guys, and the things I picked up from them, I still pass on to guys today, and they all had amazing careers themselves, and to be on the ice with them as such a young man. I was so lucky, but it all happened randomly. I was playing junior hockey, wasn't working out. Coach wanted to trade me to North Belford. So you got to Google that one and see how north that is in Ontario. It's way up there.
Oh,
And I was like, I'm not going there. And I was like, just waive me. And I think I had just learned what getting waived meant. Like, just cut me. Just kick me off the team. I want out. So they released me on waivers, and instead of jumping to another team in the league, I took a week off, and next thing I know, I was playing single A pro hockey, and then next week I was in the United Hockey League, and you're playing with men and guys that used to play in the NHL, and you know it was exciting. It was the 03-04 season, and I had just turned 19 and signed with Rockford. But from there, it was such a journey. My luggage got so many. It was old school. Big suitcase. You would have so many stickers on my suitcase from the train stops and the travels where I went. But it was cool. It was probably United Hockey League was the most exciting old school league I played in. But even up until my last year in the SPHL with Richmond, there was no visors. Guys,
oh.
you're a rookie, you came out of college, you just wore a helmet with no half shield. Like, it was old school
That's old
hockey.
time hockey right there.
Yeah, like not in like in the NHL, like you still see the guys right now that aren't wearing them. Well, sooner or later they're going to retire, and every guy is going to have one on, and every new guy is going to have to wear one coming in.
Yeah.
And the AHL coast and us, everyone else, we're like that. Where it's everyone. So yeah, it was a cool time to play pro hockey.
Were you ever scared to go no visor? Or were you, when you first got that opportunity, you're like, I'm going no visor?
Oh, and like I never even hesitated. And then when they made you put it back on, it's actually been more of an inconvenience. And I've gotten cut open more now
Oh,
with the
yeah.
half shield than without. And guys had to respect, you know, they it didn't swing sticks around, you know, didn't turn. Oh, whoa, didn't turn with their stick up in the air. And you know, do the things you see with kids coming out of college. You're used to wearing a full cage. Well, your stick's always up in the air because, you know, and like, you know, a little bump here and there was no big deal. Well, here you clip some guy with a stick in
Yeah.
the face, he could lose an eye. So, you know, there was a lot more respect in that aspect. But yeah, with hits and fights and high sticks, you almost got cut open less. But there was almost no fear. It was more excitement. It was like, oh, I'm finally going to get to play like my idols.
Finally free from the half cage, the visor, the bird cage, like whatever. Finally free, could go to the no visor and just live out old time hockey again.
That's exactly what it was. So I did play for a guy in youth hockey that he said when he played pro, he was in the minors and in the league he was in, they allowed guys to play with no helmet. So he had a whole year of playing with no helmet.
What would you have done no helmet if you could?
I think in that era, I probably would have. You know, there was a lot more respect. You don't see as many guys going head first into the
Yeah,
boards and things like that. Nowadays, you know, a guy sees your numbers on the back of your jersey. It's almost like he doesn't slow down sometimes. Where back
yeah,
then, you know, you do everything to avoid them.
yeah. The it has changed, so because especially if you get that rivalry games, like you just see like some guys just go for the numbers and they don't avoid it at all.
Yeah, and that's a scary part of it. But back in the day, of small shoulder pads, no helmets, wood sticks. You know, I probably would have done it without a doubt. Or the most I would have wanted to wear was what a little Joe Gretzky helmet.
The Jofas, that's I've seen a lot of some Jofas in the most recent like year or so. Like it's definitely interesting seeing the Jofas now compared to what they how popular they probably were back in the day.
Well, and yeah, you know, that's the thing. That helmet didn't really protect guys. It was there pretty
Yeah,
much for show. But now, when they need coaches to wear helmets at youth hockey practice, you know, if you're an old school hockey player and this and that, you don't want to wear a tracksuit and a helmet. So you know, if you're wearing one, you might as well have a stylish, cool vintage one.
yeah, great style. Jofas are great style.
Yeah, right. Zero protection, but great style, and that's a big thing with hockey too. My kid, he's already adapted it, and you know that's part of his DNA, I guess. But you know, it's all about the style, which way you
You
tape
you
your
got you got
stick.
to look
You know,
good. If you look
yeah,
good, you're gonna play good.
yep. It starts with the hair and the the tape on the stick and how you wear your skates, tongues in, tongues out. So it's everything.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But during your time in Rockford, was like the first moment you're like where you're like, this is pro hockey and like this is wild. Like some of the things that could happen that you probably saw during your time in the UHL.
Uh, well, it was like the first game. So, like, I went to practice. They said, you know, awesome. We're going on a road trip. If, you know, when we get back, we'll give you a call, come back to practice. But he said, you know, someone gets hurt or called up, I'm going to need you this year. Uh, you know, they didn't have a chance to make playoffs, so you know he had nothing to risk or gamble with, you know, playing a young kid.
Yeah.
That night, I think someone got called up to they got called up to the Emeralds. They go to Milwaukee, and you know, I get the call. I meet the bus, and I went on my first road trip. The equipment manager, having no time, he took old nameplates and cut individual letters off of nameplates. So
Oh,
when he stitched my name on the jersey, it was four separate squares all stitched together. And it was middle of the national anthem, first game in Flint, Michigan. Some fans like, you know, Pace, you suck. They're like, you suck so much you couldn't even get your own nameplate. And they're like, your name looks like Scrabble letters, and they're ripping on me. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, the national anthem isn't even over yet. These guys are all over me. And it kind of went from there. Night two, we were playing in Port Huron against the old Port Huron Beacons. And guy went hard to the net, got too close to my goalie. I cross-checked him a little high, and before you know it, I was getting fed left hands. And I couldn't eat for a week. I was all busted up, but and literally it was an introduction to pro hockey. I stayed on my feet, didn't go down, bled all over myself, and the boys on the bus and in the room respected me a whole lot more after that. But my introduction to pro hockey and what it's really going to be like was in game 1 and 2 right away.
Yeah, that's where you earned your fighting credit. Just that's where it started. Game 2.
Yep. Yeah. So I didn't wait long, and yeah, the guy was a pretty tough guy. A native guy from up north in Canada, and guys around the league knew him. I didn't know him, so I probably wouldn't have cross-checked him if I knew him like that. But that was before I learned what a stat sheet was and to check up on the other team before the game.
Would you just look at their tough guys and who they were, and then just if that happens, just try not to get them pissed off?
Well, yeah, after you learn, back in the day, we always had the stat sheet. So you checked who the leading scorer was and, where he played, things like that, his pass, how many points he used to have. They used to print off like every single guy's hockey DB. So you had everyone's hockey DB in the locker room to check through everything. And it was more a pre-scout report for the coaches, but players studied it and used it as bathroom reading material. And but yeah, you always check that penalty minute stat too, because you knew who you wanted to stay away from. You're like, okay, this guy's a killer, don't run into him.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a guy that I don't want to cross check, don't want to get anywhere near him, because if I do, I'm probably gonna have to scrap him.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. So then the following year, you got the call to the SPHL in Winston-Salem for the Polar Twins. And you also had time with Rockford as well during that year. So like, what was your time in the SB like during that time? And just because you got your first pro goal during that time as well, I believe, right?
Yeah, that year I started, went back to juniors, went to OHL camp. I was in Erie and got a bus ticket to Windsor after that. So spent some time with the Erie Otters and Windsor Spitfires. It was fun. About a week or two in both places, learned a lot. But, trying to jump in as almost an overager, I was 19. It was hard to take spots as 16 and 17-year-olds that, they have money invested in. But ended up in the U-Haul and in the SB. But yeah, season started. I was in Winston. Team was coming back after a long hiatus. The team hadn't been named the Polar Twins since like the 70s. So they were super excited to have it back. I think the next team, it was Polar Twins and Thunderbirds. And then so we picked Polar Twins. Team that's in the league right now, back in that same city is Thunderbird. So they've just kept recycling the same names in that city. It was fun. Brian Wells was coaching us there. He was a wild man from the Central Hockey League and old United League when it was called the Colonial United.
Yeah.
So he made a name for himself everywhere as a tough guy, and he put together a tough team, and it was fun to get going there and be a part of that. It was the lockout year, so every couple of weeks more and more guys would show up places because they kind of realized, hey, I'm not going to get to go to AHL camp or whatever. NHL isn't starting. Guys go to the AHL. Will trickle down effect. Guys keep getting cut. Well, finally, after a while, I think shortly after I scored that first goal, it was down in Huntsville, caught a pass on my backhand with my back facing the net and just spun and shot. No look, probably on the ice too, probably didn't even lift it. But, after that, I got to go up to Weyburn in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, and they were hosting the national championship. So got to play a little bit more in the United League on Christmas break, and we had a break in between playoffs and the national tournament. Picked up a game there, So yeah, it was a very active year still, but got to go to Weyburn and we won the national championship, the Royal Bank Cup, the RBC, and it was a huge accomplishment. Got up there, we were dead last in our division, battled back, made a playoff
underdog
spot.
story.
Yeah, we battled back, made a playoff spot, and we were the bottom seed again in playoffs, or now it would be known as the wild card. And we went to a best of seven, or went to a seventh game in a best of seven, and lost. But since we were the host team, we took I think it was like a month and a half off, trained for a month, and then went into nationals and swept it there pretty much. Lost our first game, but won everything after that, swept the rest of the tournament, and picked up my first championship ring. And that was one heck of a celebration. That was one of the wildest tournaments I'd ever been a part of. Our arena sat probably 3,000 or just over, and we probably had like 3,900 in there for the last game. It was just cram them in, have fun. We're talking a 3,000 seat arena in a town of 3,500 people in Western Canada, and people driving from the farmlands that are everywhere. And that tournament, families were in town, so it was the thing to do. And probably the whole province that weekend was get to Weyburn and watch the RBC.
Yeah, absolutely. So like throughout like that run, like what do you learn, especially like since you go from pro to juniors, and then like after that you're all pro after that. So like what do you learn from that run to help you just develop even more and feel more confident in your game to help take that to the next level?
Well, the year prior, I went from juniors to pro, and then going from pro back to juniors. The guys had such a big respect for me and what I'd went and done, that right away, even with a handful of junior A games played, I was treated like a vet and had that responsibility as a veteran player. So right away, real quick, in like a 1 year span, I ended up going from the new guy to the guy everyone was asking advice for, and what it's going to be like. And it gave me a lot of experience. What it was going to need to do now later is help guys, give them advice, help mold them, and try to give them every advantage they need to win. uh, you know some of the things I picked up there were from our coach, Dwight McMillan, because he was a no nonsense kind of guy. He wanted us to win every single game, even when we were playing the top teams in the league. I remember the night of Christmas break, we were going to play this game, and then we had 7 days off and you could fly home. And we're in Estevan. Seemed like these stories always happen in Estevan, our biggest rival, but it's about an hour south of Weyburn. Estevan, Saskatchewan, the Estevan Bruins, great arena, another great old school team. The rivalry had been lively since the
Yeah.
like 20s or 30s.
Oh,
So these two towns hated each other, especially in hockey. But I think we lost in overtime. A few seconds left, and back then is when you played your 5 minute overtime, and if no one won, it was just a tie. You tie the game, you play 5 minute overtime. If you don't score, everyone just gets 1 point and you go home.
yeah.
There was no shootout. And the kids nowadays don't even know what that's like a tie. Like, what's a tie? There's always
Yeah.
a winner. So I think we lost late in overtime, and we kind of felt good with ourselves. We still picked up a point, and against the first place team in the league. We were told to only take our skates off, rode home on the bus in our full gear, got
Oh,
home, changed into our practice gear immediately, and went on the ice and bag skated for probably almost 2 hours. And, we just, we didn't even think, it would be an option. We'd be in trouble. We thought we were going to get praised. and we got punished. And I think, I've carried that into my career as a player assistant coach and player head coach, is, how much I'm going to expect out of myself and my teammates, and not let us off easy. Like, hey, why is coach making us skate? Like, he plays on the team, he's skating himself.
Yeah.
It's like, well, yeah, if we want to be champions, we want to be the best, we got to expect the best out of us. And he was super old school. And if I did some of the stuff he did back then, I'd probably get sued even by these guys. It seems like everyone got a little softer over time, but that was one of the last years of real old school hockey.
Yeah, that's one of the worst things to hear is put on your practice stuff and bag skate for 2 hours after a game. But if everyone commits to it and does it, like that's what makes champions, I think, and just building, because you're just gonna get better with that. It's gonna suck at the time, but you're just gonna get better, and it throughout like that time, like it also like bonds like the team as well.
Well, yeah, people would say, Dwight coached like John Brophy. Then the next year, I went back to the United Hockey League, and I played for Brian Curran. He was a tough guy in the NHL for years. Toronto, I know Boston. I think he had like one other stop. But when he was in Toronto, he played for John Brophy. So when he started coaching, he coached with that old school style. Well, I spent that year in Quad City and Richmond in the U-Haul. Well, the next year I end up back in Richmond, Virginia, and playing for John Brophy in his last year of, coaching pro hockey. And for those people that are listening to this or watching this, don't know who John Brophy is, he's the guy they wrote Slapshot about. Like, he is
Oh.
the Reg Dunlop. He's Paul Newman's character. He didn't like the movie very much. They only put the name Brophy on one guy's jersey, one actor, and it was that number 8 from that team that, if anyone boards me, I'm gonna piss all over myself, and he's just a drunk mess. And that guy's name was Brophy in the
Yeah.
movie, and I think they called him John too. So John Brophy was that character, and he really didn't like that. But the things he did and what they molded that character off of, Paul Newman, playing mind games with his players, trying to have a super tough team, having, 3 goofy goons on his team, and, doing everything he can to sell out his arena. And, he made it, kind of a 3-ring circus, but at the same time, they started winning games and they started selling more tickets. And that was Brof. When we were in the SB, that was the first time I heard a coach say numerous times, over and over and over, if we had a bad game at home, he's like, these people paid to come watch you play. They worked all week, they took their paycheck, and they bought a ticket to watch you work. He was like, if you go home today, you go to work in a mill, or, on a oil rig. He's like, you think people are going to come pay to watch you work? He's like, are they going to come pay to watch you serve tables at Olive Garden? And it's like, no, they're not. No one's there to watch me work. And unless they're from corporate or something. And, that's when I really started appreciating the fans, and how important they are to a team and a franchise, and giving that team longevity and making you last is your fan base.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, the fan base is everything, because they drive like the money that brings into the team. Like they're there watching the product you put on the ice, and they're having a good time as well. But like they also want to see you win some games as well.
Well, and so Bro, he was hard on us. We ran and skated all year. Training camp, we had big garbage cans on the ice doing drills so guys could puke in the garbage cans. Like, he
Oh,
wanted to skate until someone puked, and it was almost like he got some enjoyment out of that, or he knew that's when we were going hard enough. He's like, if no one's puking, they're not even pushing themselves.
yeah.
So let's skate till someone pukes, and then I'll let up. But he would like stop our warm-ups in the middle of warm-ups. He'd call everyone over to the bench or the boards, open the door, and just berate us. and then just tell us to get on the sidewall or get on the goal line, and wanted us to skate and warm ups. So, the team's doing breakouts. They're lined up at the red line and we're spraying them with snow. And they're like, what's going on? And we're like, got yelled at. And one game, that was the first and only time in pro hockey where after the game, I think any hockey, after the game, I had to skate right on the ice, right in front of the fans. We were in Richmond, lost a close game again. Like, it was 1-1 or something, went into overtime and we lost. And he kept us on the ice and made us bag skate. Made us do sideboards. He actually got on the mic, so a bunch of the fans didn't leave. They just stayed and they were watching, like, can't believe they're doing this. He got on the mic and said, sorry, we're doing this, folks. You could go home. He's like, there's nothing to see here. He's like, I want to apologize for all these guys for not playing hard tonight. So he was a wild man. He was 74 years old at the time. And after that, he never coached again anywhere, and, passed away a few years ago. And, talked to a lot of guys that I had played for, who also played for him. And they had stayed in touch with him all the way through till then, when he was, sick in the hospital and the nursing home. And, he said, they said he got a little softer when he was a little older, even apologized to some guys for being so hard on him. But, it was awesome to play for a guy with that much intensity. But he was a showman as well, always showed up to games to coach, dressed like a movie star. And, he never let down even on the road. Teams tried to honor him by having their mascot, like, bring him flowers or something. He would take the flowers, look, and just smash the mascot over the head with the flowers. Like, it was like part WWE wrestling. There's a performance side to Brof where he was there to sell tickets on the road and at home.
That's pretty awesome. Like, that's old school hockey, and it's just like those stories, like you'll remember those stories for forever, and it's just gonna be another story to tell your kids when they're older.
Yep. Yeah. Well, in between him and a guy I played with my rookie year, Kevin Kerr, I think between the two of them, they probably beamed up more mascots in their day than anyone in pro hockey. Kevin Kerr went up in the stands one night and tackled the mascot in his gear, climbed out of the penalty box, beat the guy up. Well, under the head that he was punching was like a 15-year-old high school kid. But yeah, it's just some of the old school things that were done that, nowadays are frowned upon and aren't a part of the game anymore. But it's like they're awesome stories. And when you're all sitting around together, it's, some of the most frequented stuff thrown around is that old school stuff. The clip of the Bruins going up in the stands in New York, fighting the fans, stuff like that. It's like, yeah, we don't want to see that ever again, but why do we keep watching it then? It's like, why is it
entertaining?
Why is it the most viewed thing on hockey when you type in NHL brawl?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I still remember watching that, like, probably like a year ago. I'd flip that on probably multiple times a week, just because it's entertaining. Like, if there's nothing else to do, you might as well entertain yourself with some brawls.
Yep. So that's kind of the Federal League. Obviously, if we get into a line brawl, bench going brawl, there's going to be a lot of suspensions because today's game and the rules and how everyone kind of polices it. But at the same time, the fans want to see it. We had a goalie fight this year in Columbus, and fans just absolutely blew the lid off the place, went crazy, and everyone loved watching that clip of two padded up, goofy barbarians going at it. I don't even know how goalies swing punches with that chest protector on.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to do, but everyone loves a good old goalie fight, no matter what. No matter who you are, no matter what league you're playing in, everyone loves a good old goalie fight.
Yep.
And they won't get rejected from the officials like the NHL nowadays.
Oh, and that's the thing. I saw one the other night. I think it was Detroit, and someone, linesman, the goalie came all the way down, and they did everything they could to stop them from fighting. It's like, just let it happen.
I saw that too, and I was like, there's literally guys on the ice punching each other, and all they care about is stopping the goalie fight. As there's guys just pounding on each other on the ice like 2-on-1.
Yeah, yeah. I won't understand it. Obviously, they're trying to sell a different product. They're trying to change their brand where, our brand is old school hockey. So goalie fight, you want to do it, go ahead and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. But then after your time in Richmond, you went on a few different leagues to a few different teams. You went to Amarillo Gorillas in the CHL. You went to the Chicago Blaze in the AHL, the Flint Generals in the IHL, the Blaze again, and then the Battle Creek Revolution and the Lapeer Loggers in the AHL before you went to the Danville for the Dashers and Dayton Demons. Like what were those years like, and just adjusting to being like traded or signed somewhere else and just moving around a lot.
Well, after that, I wanted to play at a higher level. I didn't want to go back to the Southern Pro League. So I, got in that situation where, you're trying to make it back to double A hockey. You're trying to play in the Central League or the Coast or the U-Haul. Teams were disappearing every year. More and more teams were folding and becoming junior A cities. And, a city just says, or ownership, we can run a team at the same building for half or a quarter of the cost. And they were starting to experiment with that. Same operating costs minus all the player salaries.
Yeah.
And they're like, we could go from breaking even or losing money to making money. And so that was happening. It was getting harder and harder to find a job. I loved my time in the Central League. It was a great league, fast pace, great cities. But at the time, it was hard to break in. There was a lot of pro hockey players and not that many jobs. But and when it came to single A, that All American League, it worked out. I wanted to be close to Chicago, and it was a northern league, and it was Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Ohio. So it was real close to home, not a lot of travel. And some good teams came out of that league. The Evansville Icemen that now they moved to Jacksonville. They're the Jacksonville Icemen. They started in Evansville, Indiana, and just a few years later, they were in the Central League. And a few years after that, that same team and organization was in the ECHL. So it actually built up some great areas. The Blaze, we played out of West Meadows. So
Yeah.
the West Meadows was built to be the Hawks practice facility. It sits like 800 or 900 people on just that one set of bleachers. So I think we were getting a couple hundred. We didn't have sold out crowds. We had a few like 300-400 crowd nights, and it was cool for us to be home and be playing in front of our friends and family and
Yeah.
stuff. Guys are actually have their girlfriends come watch their game, where that's not possible when you're playing in Amarillo, Texas. Not everyone's driving over there to see you. So uh, super fun. And yeah, it was short lived. The league wasn't super successful, but the guys that played in the league all moved on. A lot of them that I played with and against, ended up in the Federal League at the beginning there. And yeah, when I got to Danville, it was really weird. I had taken almost a full year off and went to school, got my EMT license, coaching youth hockey, at the Glenview Stars, like right where I started off as a mite and a squirt. You're back there trying to help kids and mold them, running the Learn to Skate program and working with great coaches. But the thing was, I was, living at the rink. I was at the rink more than when I was playing.
Yeah.
And you're making like the same money. And I'm like, well, what am I doing? Like, the thing I love most is actually playing. Like, might as well go back and do it. If I'm going to be a broke hockey player, I might as well be a broke professional hockey player.
True.
And yeah, it was fun, and it just all worked out. I knew Brian Soskin, and Barry knew me through his son, and like my brother played with his son, and he knew I was playing pro hockey, and I knew he kind of owned pro teams, but we had never really truly connected. And one day he called me, wanted to go for lunch. I said yes, and was telling me about this new team he wanted to start and wanted to see if I wanted to play on it. about a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I was the player assistant. And, a month later, I was the assistant general manager. And I just kept getting more titles for my business card, but that just meant I had more hats to wear and more duties and, more duties off the ice. And it kind of evolved from there. I learned how to, sell marketing and advertising in pro hockey. What we're doing, what we're trying to put out, what we have to offer, and how we're going to generate income for our budget. And then, just recruiting, promoting, coaching. Trying to field the team and then mold that team and figure out who are your core group of guys, who do you want to keep around for years to come, and try to fill all the roles you need on a roster to build the team. That kind of helped me. That time there, it was rough. It was hard to get the team up and going and build it up. We left and moved to Michigan, won a championship our first year there. I think it was the year after Danville won a championship finally. So, that was part of the success was, the guys we had brought in during our time there. And, the coach we left there that we're like, that finally the team's in good hands. We can leave Danville and leave it with someone that won't run it into the ground, was Steve Harrison. And he just, kept it going and, found success. But, Steve Harrison, another great pro name. He played, well over 10 seasons. I think he was like 15, 16 years of pro hockey, Central League, old IHL. IHL was the American Hockey League, so AAA. He played everywhere under the NHL. And, back in the day where, you played with no helmet or a Gretzky helmet and stuff like
Old
that.
school.
So, yep. And he was an awesome guy, and learned a lot from him, and helped me to go up to Michigan and do everything that I did there. But won a championship in our first year. Year two, my dad comes in as the head coach, so got to play for my dad. Pro hockey. Not many people have their dad and father coach them in professional hockey. So that was another milestone for me in my career, like playing for my father, playing professional hockey. Great team we put together. Didn't pick up a championship, but set a bunch of records, had a longest win streak in the league history and stuff like that. Had a lot of fun that season. I think I never played with a team that had more fun than that team. It was just constantly hanging out with each other, celebrating big wins on the bus, having fun. Road trips were like kind of a breath of fresh air because we had no bothers from the outside world, and we had all of us together with no interruptions, and we had the most fun. But this move, it's kind of big. In the next couple of weeks, I'll play like my last games ever as a Port Huron Prowler. And, we started that franchise from scratch, me and my wife, Allie, with Barry. We named the team, picked the colors, picked the jerseys, built the roster, brought a championship back to Port Huron for the first time in 44 years. And, it was our kids' home. It was our second home. And, it was we put down real roots there so it could be a real official goodbye in like a few weeks where, we've been gone from there almost a year now, left last June, but it was like, you're still playing for them. When they came here, I was playing for the Prowlers still. So it's going to be weird to, skate off the ice there for the last time and know, like, next time I'm there, I'm playing against them. So it was almost like that Claude Giroux trade the other night in the NHL, like a very, known, goodbye, but heartfelt because it's a lot of time spent there, but, moving on to do better things. And it's not like you're unsure, you don't know where you're going, or you're retiring, we're never going to see you again. It's like, well, you and your family are doing something good somewhere else. And hey, we'll see you when we're booing you.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll be on the other side in the next years and the next few years. And you're obviously Port Huron's a very special place for you. It's like, how special is it for you, and just to be able to like win a championship your first year with them, have your dad be the coach, like you said, and then just like you were also captain for 3 years with Port Huron. So like, how special was Port Huron, just like that foundation that you created with them?
It was really special, and that's what I was just saying. The goodbye is going to be hard, but watching it grow was awesome. The championship, Doc Emmerich, Mike Emmerich, and the voice of hockey on NBC was from there. He had a house
Yeah.
in St. Clair, just south of town, and that championship year was the first year, the Federal League, championship. The winners got put up on NBC during the playoffs and got some good recognition. So that was the first time it happened. Now it's a continuing thing, and it's just cool to see. That was the first time an NHL broadcast acknowledged the Federal Hockey League. They actually cared about us a little bit, and people started to take recognition, like what, like who are they, where are they, like what is it. And one of the coolest things that year was Matthew Barnaby on NHL Network, and he was talking about being the penalty minute leader in the NHL. He's like, it means nothing anymore. When I played, there was meaning to the guy that had the most penalty minutes. You
Yeah.
took pride in it. He's like, now leading the NHL in penalty minutes is like leading the Federal League in scoring. Who cares? And I'm like, oh my gosh, like, oh. But that was pretty funny to hear him say that. But yeah, it was cool. The celebration that year on the ice, I had never been a part of a bigger one. Well, maybe in Weyburn, but since we were young, and then we had guys underage, and even the legal drinking age in Canada is younger. We still had high
Yeah.
school guys on the team, so there's like no booze on the ice. We're there, we won, and 30 seconds later there was bottles of champagne. So guys are spraying champagne up in the crowd at the fans and stuff, and it was a wild party.
Oh yeah, I could only imagine the after party and everything that happens with that, especially when you win at the professional level, and just being able to, because you don't have the junior underagers or anything like that, you can just go all in.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And like you see it in the NHL and baseball, basketball. They soak each other with champagne in the room. We did it on the ice in front of all the fans. So we were having fun. Port Huron had a tradition. They won 3 championships in the International Hockey League back in the 70s. And after every one, they drugged the coach into the shower in his suit. So someone had told us that before. They were like, if you guys win, you have to like drag Kraz, our coach. They're like, you have to get Trevor in the shower in his suit. And we're like, okay. So he didn't even know about it. And we just grabbed him and just, hogged him, threw him in there, and soaked him. And he's jumping around, having a blast. And I'll never forget that. He was like, what just happened? We're like, a tradition, maybe can't break a tradition.
Hey, you cannot break the tradition. Port Huron traditions are different for championships, and probably one of the best ones as well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Ottawa 67s in the OHL, they used to run out the back door and jump in the Ottawa River because the arena was so close to the canal there. And, players would do it in their full gear. So, we had a different one. I bet you coaches wish that they started that back in the day. Like, go run and jump in the St. Clair River or something. Leave me alone. But, yeah, it was awesome, and it's gonna be cool down here. They haven't won a championship since '99, and I know fans are hungry to see that celebration again because everyone's still talking about what it was like. Everyone's like, "Oh, I remember that night. Oh, I remember the energy in the building. Oh, I remember we did a whiteout. Everyone was in a white T-shirt. Oh, place was crazy. It went to 3 overtimes. I think the game ended at like 2 in the morning." And people are like, I'll never forget it. I'll never forget it. So it's cool to give fans that experience, like something they'll never forget, just watching a sporting event, how intense it was, or just nail biting.
Yeah, what's Mississippi's tradition going to be for winning championships?
I don't know. It's gonna have to be something cool, but we're so close to the beach. I don't know how it wouldn't be run out and jump in the golf in your gear.
Yeah, that'd be a pretty cool tradition to start for sure.
Yeah.
But Joe, I have a few more questions for you before we wrap things up here. So, do you have any tips for hockey players trying to get to that next level?
Everyone that's, playing youth hockey, you're going to have to go through the system. You're never going to jump from your high school team or a midget team to, playing, pro hockey in Europe. Like you're going to have to, go through the grind, especially nowadays. You're going to need to go to major junior or junior A and go to college. But either route you take is, take your time, decide. If you want to go to the OHL, just make sure you know, you want to, find college at some point in there. That's going to help you after hockey, and the OHL will pay for college for guys and stuff like that. So people that, really bash on guys for going that route, you don't have to, because if you're with a good organization, they'll pay for your education as well, and you'll get it while playing. But the biggest thing is going to be, how hard you want to work to do it, what your attitude's going to be like, and how much effort you're putting in. Because, it's a full 12-month year job now, just
Yeah,
training and staying up to it. Back in the day, you could take off in May and not skate again until the end of July or August, go to training camp in September, early October, and survive. Now, the best players in the world are training year round. They're taking a week off here, a week off there, but the most they're off the ice is a week. And,
yeah,
it kind of burns you out, but at the same time, you need those reps, you need that muscle memory. It's hard to get up to game shape and that cardio. So even when you're skating year round, when the season starts, you're still not in game shape. People are like, how are you not in game shape? Well, you've never played a game and
yeah,
like started sprinting, giving it 110%. People are like, what's that? And it's like 100% with a little extra, and like going further than you ever thought you could go. And it's hard to train like that, so it's like you don't really get those reps till the games start and it gets competitive like that. But, there's so many things to do. During the summer, guys have been going down to New Zealand and Australia to play in a pro league there. And since we're opposite seasons, our summer is their winter. So I know guys have played almost year round for a while, where we stop in April, May. They start in May, they're done in July. You get like August, September off, and then you come back right into it. So you get a shorter off season if you go down and play in Australia or New Zealand. It's great hockey. It's a little different. They'll get you like a side job, and
yeah.
you go to your warehouse job or your beach job or your restaurant job, something, and then you play on the weekends. But it's pretty cool way to play year round. But yeah, it's going to be effort, attitude, and how hard you want to work to get it done.
Yeah, absolutely. Those are great tips, and just gotta put 110%, put your heart into it, put everything you got into what you're doing and what you want to do in professional hockey, like just or going up or playing juniors, college, whatever. Just put everything you got into it.
Yeah, well, you're going to see your friends. They're going to go, to proms and this and that. And there might be a big tournament that weekend, or a select tournament, or you got asked to play with an all-star team. You're going to turn that opportunity down. No, you're going to, let your girlfriend go find a new guy and go, you go to prom and live a normal high school kid's life as you go and, be an elite athlete. And,
Yeah.
if it was meant to be, she wouldn't go to prom. She'll wait around for you. So, and that's the same thing in college. Kids want to go party and hang out and live the college life. But, you almost have that, mindset that, I'm going to have a better life later on if I
Yeah.
just don't do this now and commit to training. I just have to get through. I got to pass my classes, and I got to keep developing and getting better every day.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree with you there. But I have a few viewer Q&A questions before we wrap things up here. So, how do you balance helping a new team while playing?
Here it's going to be easy. We're going to have a full-time head coach, same way I did in Port Huron. Bringing in, experience the younger players, being a guide for them and a mentor, And honestly, I'm a stay-at-home defenseman, so it's like play simple on the ice and bring a lot to the team off the ice. You know, that's pretty much it, it in a nutshell.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the next one is what's your experience? What was your experience like playing the one game you did with the Thunderbirds?
It was really cool. They have a great team, and obviously, I think it's first and only time it will ever be done where a rostered player plays as a celebrity player on another team in the same league. And they were down here, and I was, they were talking about trading me back and forth, and they were like. Finally, they're like, why even hassle with all this? Just let him sign him as a celebrity player, and they were like, but he's not a celebrity, and he's like, yeah, he is in this league. And so it was pretty cool. It was an honor, but the guys welcomed me in with open arms. Obviously I played against a lot of them over the last couple of years, and yeah, it was just really cool. I think obviously it was easier that I didn't play with the Prowlers against them at all yet
Yeah.
at that point, and I probably won't even unless we see each other in playoffs. But they have a good group of guys, and we were playing in front of a great crowd. And I played my heart out for them. So I don't think one guy on the team could complain that I came in there and played with them that night. We did everything we could to win, and we picked one up there and helped them get the win in Biloxi. But yeah, it was different. But I think you know if with a different group of guys, it could have been miserable, but they made it really fun.
Yeah, that's unreal that you got tabbed as a celebrity player and like you're able to just have that celebrity status, especially since you're a celebrity in the league, but just to have that like in the transaction signed as a celebrity player.
Yeah, fans were blown away. Everyone didn't know what was going on.
That's what makes it even funnier.
Oh man.
Yeah, and then the final question is what excites you most about becoming a GM?
Well, you know, being a GM, it's just a job title down here. It's you know, at the at the end of the day, head coaches always build the teams. Here, I'll be doing a lot more off the ice with that title, and that's the thing. Like, I don't even know if I need that title because we're doing a lot in the front office and with sales and promoting the team. That it's hard at the federal league level. If you're a general manager, the owners are going to expect you to turn a profit in the whole business. They want to see you sell more tickets, more season tickets, more group tickets, more corporate advertising, do more promotions, more specialty nights. It's all these promoting things and off ice things. They don't care if you're budgeting the salary right and this and that. It's like the salary is so small compared to the NHL. There's no crazy math you need to do. You don't need to be a lawyer or accountant and to do the things. You see some major league sports teams, their assistant general manager has a college degree in accounting, or he's a lawyer, and it's like we don't need that. We don't need to draw up documents like that and things like that. Everything's provided from the league, and we just fill in the blanks. And it's really the head coach's job with someone like me who's the player assistant to budget the salary per week and stuff. So yeah, single A general managers in most sports, arena football, the hockey, the soccer, everything. You're doing every job in the organization. You're everyone's boss, and you're the right hand man to the owner. You're doing his day to day work.
That's I'm sure that'll be a lot of fun for you this upcoming season, just getting in that role while also being a player as well.
No, yeah, it's a lot of work. You leave practice, and most guys are putting on like a sweatsuit or workout clothes and going to eat and going straight to the gym, and you're going straight to a business meeting, or you're going to meet at a Rotary Club and speak to them or something. So it doesn't end, but the it's fun to be out in the community and making sure that you're raising awareness to the fan base.
Yeah, absolutely. But Joe, thank you so much for coming on the show. I really appreciate your time, and I want to wish you the best of luck the rest of the season, and I look forward to following your career the rest of the way and following Mississippi hockey next year.
Hey, thank you so much. And yeah, if you make it ever down to Biloxi, you let me know. We'll bring you out to see Wolves game.
Absolutely. Sounds good with me. Thank you.